She gets nothing. Dad made that clear, my sister said, sliding the folder away from me. I stared at the will in the lawyer's office. Then the judge reached for a second sealed envelope. My name is Alyssa Monroe. I'm 34 years old. I work as a high school guidance counselor. Every day, I sit with teenagers who feel lost and help them see a future they can't imagine yet. I help them fill out scholarship forms and practice interview answers. I tell them they matter. At home, I was never the one who mattered most. My older sister Dana was the one they always praised. Perfect grades, big corporate job, sharp suits, loud confidence. I stayed in our small town when Dad's health started failing. I drove him to appointments. I sorted his pills into little plastic boxes. I slept in a hard chair beside his hospital bed more nights than I can count. Dana called it wasting my potential. She said I was hiding because I couldn't compete. When Dad passed, I thought grief would soften her. I thought we'd hold each other and remember him. Instead, we sat across from each other in a lawyer's office that smelled like old paper and strong coffee. The will reading felt less like closure and more like a final test. I wasn't rich or glamorous. I didn't have a corner office or a luxury car, but I had something they didn't expect. And Dad knew exactly who I was. If you've ever been compared to the one they always praised, hit that subscribe button. Do you know what it's like to give everything and still be overlooked? Tell me in the comments. Click hype if you've ever been underestimated by your own family. Let's go. The lawyer cleared his throat and began reading the first document. His voice was calm and flat. The primary residence will be transferred to Dana Monroe. Investment accounts will be transferred to Dana Monroe. Savings accounts will be transferred to Dana Monroe. Each sentence felt like a door slamming shut. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might be sick. Dana leaned back in her chair and crossed her legs. Well, that settles it. She looked at me like I was a stranger. You stayed because you had nowhere else to go. Don't act surprised. I opened my mouth. I stayed because he needed me. She gave a short laugh. Dad told me years ago you wouldn't get anything major. He knew who could handle responsibility. The lawyer shifted uncomfortably. There are also final instructions that may need to be reviewed. Dana waved her hand. There's no need. She gets nothing. The judge, a quiet man with silver hair, looked up from his papers. I believe there is a sealed secondary document filed months before Mr. Monroe's passing. Dana's smile froze. The judge reached for a thick envelope with a red stamp across the front. The room felt smaller. I could hear the faint hum of the air conditioner above us. Dana leaned toward me and whispered, "This won't change anything." But her voice didn't sound as steady as before. In the weeks after that first reading, Dana acted like everything already belonged to her. I drove to Dad's house one afternoon and found the locks changed. Her voice came through the door when I knocked. "It's not your place anymore. I need my things," I said. "You'll have to email my assistant," she replied. "We need to keep this organized." Organized, like I was a stranger trying to sneak in. I had to schedule a 30-minute visit just to collect my own clothes and a few books. She stood there watching me pack, arms crossed. Then she started telling relatives I pressured Dad into rewriting the will. At a family dinner, my uncle looked at me and said, "You shouldn't fight this." Dana earned it. Dana smiled and added, "Some of us build careers. Some of us just stay comfortable." I felt heat rise in my face, but I stayed quiet. Later, she boxed up Mom's jewelry and the old photo albums. "These are included in the assets," she said. "They go with the house." "That's not fair," I said softly. "Life isn't fair," she replied. But as she strutted around like she had already won, I started noticing things. Bank statements on the kitchen desk. Large withdrawals in the last year. Payments I didn't remember Dad approving. Conversations didn't match what she claimed. I stopped reacting. I started observing. One evening she said, "Once probate clears, I'm selling the house." Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I looked at her calmly. I'm not the one making this hard. What Dana didn't know was that I handled most of Dada's paperwork during his illness. When he got too tired to read small print, I read it for him. When he needed forms signed, I organized them. I kept copies, medical bills, bank statements, emails. I remembered the day he asked me to drive him to the courthouse. The sky was gray and heavy. He held a folder on his lap and said, "I need to make sure things are fair." I didn't push him for details. I just drove. But I kept the parking receipt from that visit. I also saved a voicemail from him weeks later. His voice was weak but clear. "Don't let anyone push you around, Alyssa." I replayed that message more than once. When I compared the bank statements to the timeline of his hospital stays, I saw withdrawals made when he was heavily medicated. Large sums. I printed everything. I wasn't alone either. Mr. Whitaker, our old family lawyer, had known my parents for decades. He called me quietly one evening. "Your father updated more than one document," he said. I swallowed. "Dana thinks there's nothing else." "There is," he replied. "And there are concerns about financial pressure." I showed him the discrepancies I found. He studied them carefully, adjusting his glasses. "This changes things," he said. Meanwhile, Dana was planning renovations. She talked about knocking down walls and modernizing the kitchen. She bragged to cousins about her inheritance win. She even told me, "You should start looking for a new apartment now." I won't hold the house forever. Mr. Whitaker filed a motion to present the sealed second document formally in court. Dana rolled her eyes when she heard. This is just a formality. But as the official probate hearing approached, I noticed she started asking more questions. Quiet ones. The courtroom was silent on the day of the hearing. The sound of a clock ticking echoed against the wooden walls. Dana sat straight, dressed in a sharp navy suit. Confident. Controlled. The judge nodded to the clerk. "Open the sealed document." Dana leaned toward me. "This won't change anything." The clerk broke the seal and handed the document to the judge. He began reading. The second will stated that if any beneficiary attempted to manipulate or intimidate during estate proceedings, their inheritance would be reduced. It also referenced attached documentation of financial withdrawals made without full consent. Dana stiffened. The judge continued. The document included copies of bank statements and an affidavit signed by my father, expressing concern about undue influence. "That's not accurate," Dana said quickly. He was confused near the end. Mr. Whitaker stood calmly. "Your Honor, we have medical records indicating Mr. Monroe was mentally competent at the time of signing. We also have recorded instructions submitted with the affidavit." The judge reviewed the papers slowly. After a long pause, he spoke. "The estate will be redistributed according to the updated document. Oversight will be assigned pending investigation into financial conduct." Dana's face went pale. "Your father anticipated conflict," the judge said, glancing in my direction. Dana turned to me, eyes sharp. "You planned this?" I met her stare. My voice was steady. "No, Dad did. Probate concluded over the next few months with oversight in place. The estate was split fairly. I received part of the house and control over the items Dad had specifically listed for me, including Mom's jewelry and the old photo albums." Dana stopped attending family gatherings. When she did show up, she avoided eye contact. I didn't use my share for luxury. Instead, I created a small college fund program at my school in Dad's name. A scholarship for students who stay behind to care for family but still dream big. I don't feel victorious. I feel steady. Dad didn't leave me everything. He left me proof that he saw me clearly. And sometimes, that's more powerful than money. If your family ever tried to erase you from something that was rightfully yours, I understand. Have you faced inheritance drama or legal betrayal after a loss? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe so you don't miss more real stories like this. Click hype to help this story reach others who need it. Did this story hit home? Let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Click hype to help this story find others who felt the same way. Your support makes a huge difference.